and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Remember that if you want to be a part of our conversation, it is SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. If you want to find us on email, it's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za over there. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you how much you know about smart cities. This as South Africa has spoken about a possibility of building a new smart city. Rwanda is already constructing one with the help of the Chinese. Results of that Twitter poll are coming up later in the program. Tonight, we're asking what smart cities are and whether South Africa has an education system that's adequate enough to create a workforce that can run these. Within Code says South Africa doesn't have enough digital skills and therefore they're providing these. And our discussion with Tolani Dube is looking at parts of the continent that shut down the internet when people are fighting for their voice to be heard. President Cyril Ramaphosa is saying that cities like Durban are already coming under strain. Therefore, he's talking about a possibility of building a brand new smart city. Rwanda is already building one, but with Eskom under strain, do we have enough power to generate a smart city and run it? And what possibilities are there? Do we have a good enough education system to create a workforce that can run a smart city? Here is that South Africa doesn't have skills to ensure we truly survive the new tech revolution. President Cyril Ramaphosa seems to be on a quest to encourage South Africans to be better equipped with skills that will ensure they survive the fourth industrial revolution.
Improving our educational outcomes, making sure that the skills revolution that we want to see in our country is actually going to create that environment in which our people are better educated and get better skills.
At the recent Digital Skills Summit, Communications Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams said closing the tech gap by improving education can end poverty for many.
We should not allow technology evolution to be so rapid that education is unable to keep up, as that will only intensify inequality, and that we cannot afford.
The president recently spoke about smart cities, which can be properly run by a better educated workforce. This can stop the worry about people losing jobs. Simmons says they're working on ensuring that South Africa and other African countries have enough power needed for smart cities, as they say they will eventually come.
A particular solution for, in this case, a solar energy solution, in which we have a microgrid, a storage solution, and an all-connected digital way on how to manage electricity supply. So the application which you see here today with regards to solar is only one possibility, but it can be various hybrid solutions. It can be small hydro combined with solar, or solar combined with wind, whatever a customer would prefer and what the setting is at the locations where they are. But very important is we have the possibility as well to store electricity for times when obviously the sun doesn't shine.
The technology Siemens has come up with can switch from wind to solar to the power provided by Eskom. They say this will help us get out of the dark.
Our system, it's well proven with Eskom, with different utilities all over the world and in Africa. So this integration is always there. It's our main knowledge, and we put the microgrid and the new technology on top for it in the integration. The same is it for our generations, for solar. Everything is standardized communications. So we just integrate it and communicate to each other and to the control then in the controller.
The architect that integrated different solutions says while they've done this on a small scale, they can transfer it to many spaces, including housing complexes that are part of a smarter city.
This solution is very suitable for such cases, for development projects, housing development projects, like in a complex, for example. We know that there's a lot of power that's being consumed. So putting in place a solar plant will help, because you can leverage power from the sun. And also you can have a battery storage, which will be able to store your energy during the day, and that power you can be able to use it during the night.
It's inevitable that cities have to be smarter, and at the center of that is enough power to ensure all our technologies truly stay connected in a high-tech environment. In order for that to happen, South Africa needs to make sure that the population is better educated. Within Code is a free digital skills program. In order for you to qualify, you have to be between the ages of 18 and 35 and be unemployed. Within Code says they do this because universities can't do it on their own. They're looking for a new cohort of students.
Johannesburg's coding school that takes only 1% of applicants. This coding academy in Johannesburg doesn't have any teachers or classes, and students don't need prior experience to attend. Within Code in Johannesburg focuses on peer-to-peer learning. The hope being students will master website, program, and app development over the intense 2-year course. And there's a market for strong coders here. South Africa has a severe shortage of workers with computer-based expertise. Major sectors such as the financial industry are struggling to find local recruits with these skills. Getting into the academy isn't easy though. Students are selected through a bootcamp which only sees the top 1% survive to find a spot at the school.
Universities are doing a great job of delivering technical skills that are desperately needed within the business space. The reality is that they can't keep up with the demand, and the university channel focuses on a very specific type of high school education, which then feeds into what they do. A program like We Think Code democratizes the opportunity by saying it doesn't matter what your prior educational background is, it doesn't matter what your prior social background is, you could be born to code, and here's an opportunity to include you in the economics of technology.
The reality is that they can't keep up with the demand, and the university channel focuses on a very specific type of high school education, which then feeds into what they do. A program like Within Code democratizes the opportunity by saying it doesn't matter what your prior education background is, it doesn't matter what your prior social background is, you could be born to code, and here's an opportunity to include you in the economics of technology. Unemployment in Africa's most advanced economy has remained stubbornly high since white minority rule ended 25 years ago. And governments say the burden of joblessness is concentrated within the 15 to 34 age group, who account for almost 2/3 of unemployed. About 98% of Within Code graduates now have jobs. It also relies purely on donations from partners who sponsor student studies and take them in for 4 months internships once they have finished studying. The program is struggling to recruit girls though. One of the program's ongoing mission is to challenge perceptions that coding is a masculine field.
Insurance offered on digital platforms is already available from startups such as Pineapple. Mobile phone network operator MTN says they're partnering with a traditional insurance company to offer this as well.
InsurTech is the provision of insurance solutions using the technologies, the digital technologies that are available today. One of the big challenges that we face is that customer engagement with insurance companies has changed fundamentally. No longer do clients just want to deal with an advisor face-to-face, be it an agent of an insurance company or independent intermediary who provides products from a range of insurance companies. Clients of today, particularly younger ones, digital tech-savvy clients, they want to deal with organizations like ours in a different way. They want to be able to access the product on an application or an app or through the internet, and not just through telephone services that we've been providing for many, many years.
FinTech is basically leveraging technology to deliver financial services. We have a very exciting partnership with Sanlam. As you may all know, Sanlam is a leader in their field, and we believe we are also quite a big player in the telco space. We have the best network in South Africa. The partnership really here is to be able to leverage technology as well as connectivity to deliver financial inclusion.
We've been in discussions with MTN for quite some time, and we've announced the partnership finally today. And it really is an opportunity to bring together two big brands, an insurance brand and a tech brand, where it'll be insurance solutions life insurance, funeral, savings plans, investment plans, but they will have some slightly different features, and then fundamentally they'll be available in a different way.
Right now we're in the process of rolling out building our first product. The first product we'll be building out is for the LSM6. It's mostly for youth and young adults. The product will make life insurance more accessible. Connectivity will always be a challenge. Connectivity devices will always be a challenge, and it's something we're working on to improve every day. MTN is got quite a good network, which we're continually striving to improve and to modernize. But even with those challenges, we believe there's still an opportunity to reach a large part of South Africans.
Insurers have been in the digital space, but what I think is the value from today is just the fact that you have an insurer getting in sort of into a partnership with the telco, trying to make insurance products more affordable and also increase financial inclusion, because South Africa has so many issues and problems, especially around financial inclusion. So it's encouraging that you see people like this, partnering together. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered around how much is it going to be, one, and two, how are people actually going to have access to the platforms, because I think as much as cell phone penetration is high in South Africa, for example, there are still sections of the country that have connectivity issues.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Get in touch with us on News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about African countries that shut down the internet in times of protest action or during elections.
Baletsle Mthethwa joins us now live. MNS attorneys were mandated to conduct these reports and investigations. What sort of processes did they follow?
We heard Tiamo explaining that they worked with actuarial scientists in order to investigate these transactions.
Slap suits, tell us more about this.
The concept of slap suits, which is litigation often used by big companies to silence critics.
We as civil society won't stand for this kind of intimidation and harassment. If you come to South Africa, you need to obey the obligations that you have in terms of the laws of this country, including environmental laws.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now, Malawi is believed to have shut down the internet on election day in May. We caught up with the country's information minister to find out if this is true and what actually happened.
There has never been internet shutdown in Malawi. And government has never, taken that angle to shut down internet at any time, not even during the time of election. So it's a complete lie. I think it is not unique with Malawi. Fake news is all over across the world. I think the countries are struggling in terms of controlling fake news. There has never been a case at any point where internet was shut down for the purposes of elections or whatsoever. In Parliament, we passed the law, a Communications Act. And in the Communications Act, there are those, areas where social media can be controlled. And we are following that, and there is, my ministry actually is very key to that, to ensure that it is fully implemented.
I spoke to political analyst Kolani Dube about the politics of the internet in times of dissent here in South Africa and the rest of the African continent. Kolani Dube, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if we start by looking at the rest of the African continent, why would you say that certain governments block social media in times of protest and in times of elections?
Africa is still an enclaved space, and where a big man always likes to show his strength. And I believe that such mentality is still prevailing, even in this particular time of technology and of social media. And they are not aware that they can't simply enter into this space with their archaic kind of restricting freedom of speech, freedom of expression, because in social media, you can't do that.
And does social media really change things for citizens?
The social media, what they've done, they fast-track the concept of a global village. And so even people in Africa, they can simply close down the social media. The world is a singular village. And there is no one who is the dictator of this singular village. Is kind of a colossal salad of ideas that no one can simply restrain it. And so that's why I'm saying it's very impossible to close down the social media, and even the African dictators who are hell-bent on saying we'll close down this discourse that is against them when they oppress people through social media. It's impossible, they can't do that.
Does it offer a counter-narrative though?
These two worlds, they coexist. These two worlds, to a certain extent, they share similarities. If you are dominant in the social media, trust me, there is a high possibility that even in the real world, you might dominate certain people. Recently in Africa, we have seen it, how the Sudan people went out against al-Bashir in the social media, where he is today. So as well in Egypt, forget about the aftermath that the people are still disempowered. But social media, to a certain extent, do have power to change. Today, Egypt, the dictator is no more. Al-Bashir is no more. Trump is there, regardless what the traditional media was saying. And so social media is becoming powerful. It might overcome or it might overthrow the real world.
So then, if you say that social media has toppled leaders in other parts of the African continent, that's why they would be scared of it then and shut it, no?
Look, what I'm trying to say is that the world is moving to the world of social media. The visual world is become the reality. It's no longer something that is untangible. It's becoming tangible, as I've said it. Jacob Zuma today, attack Jacob Zuma in social media, attack Julius Malema in social media, attack Donald Trump in social media, and you'll see who you are. And so meaning that those guys who rule the social media, they rule the social world. Cyril Ramaphosa is not powerful in social media, as well as not powerful in the real world. Those who are powerful in social media, let me repeat it again, they are also powerful in the real world. The society is powerful in the social media, hence also is powerful in the real world. It is for this reason now that these dictators are very skeptical, are very scared of the social media because they are aware of the power of the social media. And the really enemy of any government, of any dictator, is the social media. Look at Pravin Gordhan. It was the social media that demanded Pravin to produce his qualification as a pharmacist. And today, UKZN decided that, look, we can't go against the social media for the brand of the university and also for the brand of this minister. We have to come out clean and say, yes, he graduated. But people in the social media, they are still pushing the UKZN into the corner. We will see how UKZN is going to respond, because now they are saying, show us the results, show us the graduation photos. The social media is very bully. The social media, to a certain extent, is about accountability. And that's what the dictators and the government of the world, they don't want social media, because they know that once they allow the social media would put them into accountability.
Lolani Dube, thank you very much for being a part of our network.
My name is Sisanda, and my favorite piece of technology is my phone. In fact, I need a diet to get away from my phone because I use it for everything. My work, entertainment, my kids play on it. I use it all the time.
vehicles. They're busy shooting.
We drove around this.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
Britain's state-run health service is teaming up with Amazon to provide medical advice for common ailments such as migraines and flu via the tech giant's voice assistant Alexa, aiming to help more patients at home and cut down on costs.
Alexa, what can I do about my migraine?
According to the NHS website, there's currently no cure for migraines, although a number of treatments are available to help ease the symptoms. Most people find that sleeping or lying in a darkened room is the best thing to do when having a migraine attack. Others find that eating something helps, or they start to feel better once they've been sick. Many people who have migraines find that over-the-counter painkillers can help to reduce their symptoms.
The US company's algorithm uses information from the NHS website to provide answers to voice questions such as, Alexa, how do I treat a migraine? Or, Alexa, what are the symptoms of chickenpox? And now in the UK. Far from the sunny white streets of Phoenix, where Waymo's self-driving taxis ply their trade, a handful of European startups are developing driverless cars to navigate the clogged, chaotic, rain-swept roads of European cities.
The roads aren't full. They're just full of vehicles being driven in an uncoordinated and not particularly smart way. The way in which we use car parking, and like most of the iron is still most of the time, so we might move more stuff. So it's not necessarily clear that the heaps more vehicles I think we will have, because when as a species have we ever wanted to move less stuff?
According to the Boston Consulting Group, the era of connected high-tech vehicles is expected to generate about $150 billion of new profits for the auto sector by 2035, making the race to nail the technology a potentially lucrative one. On the run from U.S. tax authorities, tech guru John McAfee says he can help Cuba evade the U.S. government too by launching a cryptocurrency that defeats a U.S. trade embargo.
I'm one of the world's cryptocurrency specialists, and I would know exactly how to do that. That would be trivial to get around the U.S. government's embargo through the use of a clever system of cryptocurrency. So I made a formal offer to help them for free if they needed or wanted my help.
While Cuba had not responded, its communist government said it was studying the potential use of cryptocurrency to alleviate an economic crisis aggravated by tighter U.S. sanctions under President Donald Trump.
There's a lot of talk around the African continent about smart cities. Rwanda says they're teaming up with the Chinese to build one, and they've already started. Then President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa says the country needs to start thinking about a possibility of a brand new smart city. Therefore, our Twitter poll this week is asking you how much you know about smart cities. Now, in the majority of 47% of you, those say they know absolutely nothing at all about a smart city. The lowest number of respondents is at 11%. Those are people who say they know a lot about smart cities. Then there are those of you who say they know just a little bit. Their number is at 23%. And 19% of you say you just don't care about what smart cities are. That's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me and the rest of the team right here in Durban, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Have a good one. It's bye-bye.